walk with me on a quick journey. You're in your teens, you for the first time want to diet, and you have no idea what you're doing. So you begin scouring bodybuilding.com, look at some magazines, you talk to some personal trainers, maybe look at some research articles. You begin forming the way that you shape the way eating should be, what it looks like, how you should live, and what foods you should eat and what foods you shouldn't eat altogether. And that time in someone's life can be very pivotal. It can change the whole shape of your life in the future. And those can be positive things. But what I'm noticing, and something that I need to alert every one of you, is to look inside yourself and then to look at the friends around you and try to discover if maybe some of it is healthy, good things that you're doing for your life. But what if some of it is unhealthy? And I'm bringing out the topic of orthorexia. Orthorexia is the term that, or a condition that includes symptoms of obsessive behavior related to the pursuit of healthy diet. And it's coming on strong in America today. And for many of you watching this right off the bat that want to immediately dismiss yourself from the diagnosis, technical term of orthorexia, I want you to take a minute and I want you to watch this video. And I want you to look inside yourself and ask yourself, do I have some of these tendencies? Because anybody who's competed, dieted for really long periods of time, heavily into fitness, people really big into the holistic health community, anybody who buys really hard into some type of diet book or doctor, and then you're listening to everything on social media, all of you are exhibiting a little bit of these behaviors. And it's very healthy to keep your diet healthy, but it's not okay to start eliminating huge parts of the food world that we have based on a certain set of fundamental principles that really may not benefit your long-term health. So this topic, the journey of orthorexia, is a very, very important one to me. I see that every client that comes in the door, I feel, has some misguided thoughts and behaviors related to food that was developed during their time of data searching. And it's time to not necessarily, I'm not here today to tell you exactly how to live your life or exactly which one's better than another one. I don't want to debate whether intermittent fasting carnivore is better than keto or, whatever. It's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to discuss the journey of how people get themselves backed into a corner and start creating behaviors and unhealthy lifestyle habits in the pursuit of health. And it happens all the time. Let me show you how this works. So behind me, I have a chart here. This chart is going to have foods that overlap. It's also going to have concepts like grass-fed, processed, right? So there's going to be, and there will be types of foods, groups, legumes, right? Then there's individual foods on here like beer, right? And this is going to be your food bank. The entire world has such a brevity of food in all shapes and forms. And what happens is the minute that we decide to eat a certain way, we've now automatically cut off half of what the world has to offer in food. Before I dig into this, I want to share something with you. Food is a lot like human beings. If you took a piece of food and you looked at it and you could say, here's some bad characteristics and here's some good characteristics. No food is totally bad or totally good. That's the trick of it. It just depends on where you're at in your life, what season you're in your life. We're going to talk about seasons in a minute. And does it suit you in the season you're at now? So if anybody tries to tell you or demonize any one food in particular, aside from generally processed food in general is not very healthy for you and should be limited. But you get away from that, the spectrum of food across the board, across the world, has so many health benefits and properties and is good for your, just your palate and eating all kinds of different things. And the minute we start shaping how we think the right way is to eat, we now begin to start chopping this thing up, taking slices of the pizza out, deciding what's ours and what's not ours, right? So let's walk on that journey. Most of us, when we first start health programming, right? You meet somebody and they're gonna say, hey, buddy, cut all the bad food out, okay? Cut out all the bad food. This in general is really good. So the food bank will get reduced. I'm gonna cut out pizza, right? Then I'm going to cut out maybe some beer and candy, right? That's the easy stuff, right? That makes sense. No problem. See, now here, learning to diet is a positive thing, right? This is a great part about the journey, right? But let's say you really want to lose weight, right? So then people are going to say, hey, you know what? You want to lose some weight? Get rid of like the grains, or not even necessarily grains. We won't go grains yet. Let's just say high carb like foods. So you went, all right, I'll cut out the bread, right? Bread goes out the door. Okay, if I go bread, right? Then you hear about maybe a doctor talking about wheat-based products because wheat's what's in bread. All right, so I'll take out all wheat. That makes sense, right? All right, so I got to take out a lot of carbs, right? Because I took the bread out. Okay, so now if carbs are bad, which is what a lot of people are learning, carbs are bad, well, that's fine. I'll just take out fruit too. We won't eat any fruit, right? So that's fine for a while. And then you realize, all right, well, let's take out rice then. Let's get our carbs down, right? And so at this point in somebody's journey, this is still generally healthy, okay? Cutting out some carbs is fine for a while. Getting rid of some of the processed stuff, that's fine for a while, right? But then you're on social media, right? And somebody tells you, oh, by the way, dairy has hormones. Ooh, okay. Well, I better not have dairy then. Let's get dairy off the board because I don't want hormones in my body, right? And then someone says, well, okay, no dairy, but guess what? No genetically modified foods. And soy's really bad for that and can give you cancer. Oh, well, I wouldn't want cancer. All right, well, tofu's soy, right? Here's soy products all together, right? I'm gonna get rid of those. You know, and it depends at this point, as you're moving in your journey, who you listen to. Because if you go vegan, now they're gonna tell you, oh, meat's bad. Don't you have any meat? None of that meat stuff. All right, well now, beef, grass-fed, right? All that's off the table, right? Poultry's off the table. But what if you go another route? What if you learn about some of the chemistry, like carbohydrates? Maybe you learn about, like, you want to keep all grains out, grains and nightshades. That's a popular one. All of a sudden, all right, no potatoes for me. Nightshades make my stomach upset, right? So I'm gonna take out nightshades. I don't want no oatmeal, right? Ooh, I heard about sugary veggies. I don't want any of that sugar stuff. Sugar's bad, right? All right, sugar's bad. Get rid of those carrots. Carrots got a little more sugar than other ones, or carrots or peas, right? And I'm only going to eat things now that are grass-fed, non-GMO, and I'm getting rid of all processed foods, right? Okay? Now, here's the thing. I'm going to stop you here in the middle of this person's journey, okay? At this point, this person is chasing health, okay? But what they've started to do is they've just now eliminated half the world's food supply that carries minerals, nutrients, vitamins, not to mention is in a lot of different foods that make sure that you're eating a brevity of different foods for your, just, hey, make sure when I go out I have something. Make sure that, that I'm behaving a bit normally. I'm not sectioning myself off too much. At this part in the journey is when we start to get a bit obsessive and a bit compulsive. This is where the holistic health community has not done anybody any services. Because you got a lot of people out there spouting a lot of opinions about stuff that they don't know anything about long term. That's why long term matters. Okay? This is why if you got a keto guy, intermittent fasting guy, if you've got anybody along those range that are telling you to cut these things out of your life, okay? Are they really thinking about you for your whole life? Did that come into account at all inside their process and their thinking? Because what a lot of us do, we never do anything temporarily. We can't ever do anything for a season. It's either yes or no, zeros and ones, good or bad. And right now, this individual thinks all these foods are bad. So they take them all the way out of their diet. When this happens, now your base of foods you have left over are very